Hello everyone, my name is Peter Tadros. I'm a senior PowerApps developer. Today we'll be making a video about SharePoint versions, and we'll be using the Graph API to get the versions from there, get all the columns, to be able to display it in PowerApps. Some places require showing the versions, as like for example, the place I'm working for, we work with regulations and things like that. So we must capture all the changes that happened. We're using SharePoint. Uh, it does not have out-of-the-box versioning that you can get into Power Apps, but we can leverage the Graph API, so we can pull these into the Power Apps and we can display it in there. So, all right, let's get started. I'll be working off this list here. It's called general list. Oh, it's just a general list, right? So general list has general columns, obviously. Text, multiple lines, person, multiple, this and that. So just nothing unusual here. So I will be making a well, first of all, if you're not familiar with this, you'll have to connect it first, which I did, connected it, and I am going to enter a gallery. So there you go. Uh, Simple as that. Gallery, and just put it here. Do let's give it the let's general list. All right. I will sort just so I have know what we're doing. Oops. All right. And let's do sort on the ID column and sort descending. All right. So let's see what we got here. We got two items, and I will keep. I don't want this. Just get rid of the picture. So I will put the ID up here, and this one should be text. We've got a column, text column, and I think that's enough. Just these two columns here. So we know that we're working on this item based on the ID, and this is just the text that will be changing. Let's add a form, so we can add some changes to this list. So the form will also take the same list. Let's add it from here so we get all the things populated, all the columns. If you don't want all of this populated here, if you have like a huge list like I do sometimes, you can just type in the list name and the data source, and you can just pick and choose which one. But in this case, we'll just do them all. So I will leave everything as is. We don't need anything fancy. For the item of this form, let's choose from this gallery. So we'll take the gallery and go to the form and its item in here. Just say this gallery dot selected, and that's it. So whatever we select, we have 2. That's item 2. 1. That's 1. Yay. All right, let's just remove that. We don't use the title. Okay, so we'll get a button here, and this is form 2. So we'll just tell it to submit form 2. So submit form, and add the form, and close the bracket or parentheses. So what we need to do after every submission, we'll need to reset this form. So you can add it here in the column, so you can just say reset form, or I'd like actually to do it on the success, since we use that form for multiple things to validate. So I don't want to keep resetting it every click. So I can just do on the success of it. So if everything goes smooth, then just reset it for me. If not, then we'll see what troubled it. But for now, this is what we're gonna do. So I'll give it a quick test. So we'll choose item 1, and this is the column that we have in here. So text single line. Let's make this 2 into 2222. So go. There you go. Perfect. So I guess that's fine. So okay. Now for the fun part. Let's try to get the versionings of these items into another gallery. So I'll just copy this gallery and minimize it here, and I will go and let's see. All right, let's get another button here, just so we can grab the graph API first. So on here, we can actually, let's see. All right. So before we do that, let me I have it here, the connector, but I want you to see it. So the connector is Office 365 groups. So if we don't have it, what we're gonna do is just from add data, go to connectors and type in Office or groups here. And it's right there. So Office 365 groups. This connector will help us to get the HTTP request to SharePoint. So add this connector in here, and I'm going into the button we added in here, and I will just search for the connection. So it's Office 365 groups, and it has all these sweet things. So for our purpose today, we'll do the HTTP request. And the HTTP request will require URI for the API, and a method, and a file, and then you can add other options. So for the URI, this will be the link of the Graph API. So if you're not familiar with the Graph, like I used to, and so I used to use the Graph interface in here. It's really nice, and it's simple and sweet, and you can come and do all your testing in here. I'll add the link in the description. You can come and do all your testing in here. You can get familiar with the API. And so you can, if you want to leverage in PowerApps, you could, if you want to take it into other applications. But that's a really good interface here that I always use. So, and it's actually sorted. So you don't have to do any of the dirty work. Everything is nice and easy in here. So go to the left side, see what you can find. And this time we are going to the SharePoint site. So for the URI to work, we need the SharePoint site, so we know which site we're going towards, and we need that list, and we need the column. So we'll take it step by step. First, we'll go into the SharePoint site. We need the ID. Let's say I don't know what's the ID, so I'm just gonna actually look it up. So I'm going here to the Graph API, and the ID will be, I'm going to the SharePoint site, and I'm going to these options right there. So I'm going to choose search for a SharePoint site by keyword. So I click on that, and then right here. So will get me that left link here, and instead of this, my site, it's called dev. So as you can see, it's right here. So the site and dev, and I'll just search in here. So I'll type in dev and run fast. There you go. So this is my ID. So I get to grab all of this, and that's the ID of my site. Now I need the ID of the list. So this is really easy. You can also get it that way, or you can do this. So if I have the list open, I can just go to its settings. And once I click on the settings, actually it comes on the link on top here. So list equal, and this is the ID. So I also grab this, and I did not grab it. So I grabbed it, and I'm going to go to Graph also to see the items. So now we're leaving the sites, SharePoint sites, and we're going to SharePoint lists. So we're going to be using this one right here, items in a list. So if I click on it, this comes, and that's what I need to fill in. I need to fill in the site. So instead of the root, I'll grab the site that I got from here, the ID. So I get this, and I add it in here, and instead of lists ID, this ID, I'll add my own ID that I got also for my list, the general. So it's this one here. I can give it a try, and there you go. That's all the items. We don't need all the items. Well, we need all the items, but we need a specific column, not all the columns. So we do like this, and actually we need to specify, let's actually specify whatever items we need. I'll take it back. We'll get one item. So I'll add just ID 1, and let's see. So this is just the first one, first item, record, and then now I get to get the columns. So we're getting this guy right here, versions. Once we get the versions, we are all set. So we'll take this whole URI, and as you can see here, so this is the version. So for this specific item, so it's showing us here, that's version 2, and that's version 3, and so on. So I made 3 modifications, and that's version 1. And under this, you can see here's the table for the change. As you can see, the ID, which is the version number, last modified, and last modified by, that's me, and also have the fields. So we can get this column or this column and so on. Sweet. Let's go do the work. So we'll go to the button here and let's see what this needs from us. So it needed ID, it needed the method, it needed the file. So I'll go ahead and dump the URI that we got, but I'll do some modifications in here. So instead of this one, I'll just add the gallery ID. So every time we click on it, it's dynamic. So it'll give us the ID for this item we clicked on, the main gallery, right? So it's gallery 2. And I go, instead of this, there you go. That's selected, the ID. All right, sweet. So we get the versions, and then we get the URI, and then let's get the method. The method, we have all of these here. We just need to get the get for today. So get it, we're getting some stuff from SharePoint. We're not adding or deleting or doing anything else. So get, and then we just pass the rest of the parameter, which is the file. We don't have a file, so we just leave it blank. But then we do, I mean, you could end by here and do the rest in a different way, but I'm just gonna do it all in here so I don't have to do much of the work. So I will add actually the content type. So I'll get the content type as a JSON application. So it's let's do this, and I'm just gonna type lowercase application, and it's JSON. There, and close it. Cool. That's it. But we need to actually save it somewhere so we get to use it. So let's create a collection. Let's say clear collect, and we'll call it something as in graph, graph SharePoint list version collection. There you go. So very long name, don't know why, but that's what we have. All right, so this is our collection, and let's just close it, and let's do something else. So we need the value actually of this, and I'm gonna show you why later, but for now, just trust me on that. So we need the value, and let's have it as a table, right? Because it's a collection. So instead of a string or a string object, let's get it as a table. There. Come on, go down. Perfect. All right, so let's give it a run. And perfect. So we got 3 values for the 3 items that we have over here for the versions for a specific one, which I think it was the selected one, right? So, no, yep, it is one, item 1. Okay, so let's see a little bit behind the scene what happened. So I'm just gonna open the app checker and open monitor, and it's gonna open a different screen. I will sort the ID larger to smaller so I can always see what's there, and I will go to the app and I will run this again. Let's call this something so recognize it. Graph. Cool. All right, so just gonna run this once and see what happens. And we got the HTTP request. Awesome. So let's open the response and see. Nice. So they added actually for us in a sweet way here where you can open and you don't have to mess up with all the trees. So you get all the columns, and that's each value, you know. So, but let's open the trees. So we can see the JSON tree. And I will open the body of it. So click on here, and this is what we got in our response. So we got ID 3, and we got ID 2, and we got ID 1. So these are the 3 versions that we have for the item number 2. How do we get this into the Power Apps? So we pretty much got them, but how can we show them or display them? Now it's much easier than before. Before we used to have to use flow and JSON, and we'll bring JSON to Power Apps, and we'll make a huge mess and pull our hairs, and then we end up with a display. And after many things that can fail along the way, it wasn't easy, it wasn't sweet, but now Power Apps did all of this work for us. So good news. It's been a while for that, so all we have to do is just plug in, right? So cool. Let's go back to the app and see what we can do. So we're gonna be displaying into this. We don't need this anymore. We need our new collection. No one has all the magic, so it is right here. Which a long name I wrote and I forgot. So it's gonna be in here. All right, so now let's get some columns from this. So it's gonna be this item, and then we're gonna have to go to here so we can see what we need. So we need something from the value, right? So we get the body in the collection, and we need the value. So this will be value, this item, that value, and then dot. Let's try the ID. And awesome, we got the ID because we typed it exactly as here. So that's a trick. Just, pay attention to each of the column names because we'll have to type it from here. So if right now we're getting the value, we got the ID, and let's get the last modified by. This is all normal stuff you could get actually from the list, from the last modified, but and also the version column 2, it's from the list, so no hassle in that. But the sweet thing will be in the fields later. So let's just add ID so we don't get confused. And then this item dot value, and then dot. Let's add this last modified date and time. So that's the when, and let's make a new one for the who. So the who would be, let's go back to our JSON tree and see the who. The who is here under user, so under value and under user and display name. I want display name, so just have to type in user lowercase display name as is, so don't get confused. So I'm just gonna go here and type in. Oh wait, I forgot. Got that. I remember now. So there is this actually missing part that I forgot. So we're gonna go value last modified by, and then from within we're gonna get the user, and from within we're getting the display name. So it's a little bit of going around, but we're gonna get it. So let's do this. Last modified by dot user. I can type this dot display. I think the N is uppercase. Display name. Is it? I made something wrong. This guy made it uppercase without asking me. There you go. So lowercase. Nice. Now let's do something cool. Let's get the columns themselves. So I will erase all of that and I'll stop by the value. So this item.value. Let's go back to JSON tree. We are here. We need to get the fields. So let's copy the fields and let's look for the column that we need to show the changes for. So the column that we changed was this column here, this obvious column, takes single line. So I'm gonna also copy this. So go back to the Power Apps and let's add the fields dot and the column name. And voila. So we got test, that's in version 1. You got sorry, looks ugly here, but you get it. So it's fun. Come on. There you go. So version 1 test, version 2 test 2, version 3 test 22, and let's just do. So how do we actually build them together? So let's get the graph. Whatever code we did here, which is this, let's copy it, and maybe you can do as in here. Let's copy the whole thing actually. Cut. So we'll take it in here, And maybe you can do something here. It says show versions or something like that. I don't know, the way, whatever you want to do it, whatever the way you want to do it, you can do that. But for now, we're just gonna do this. So you can do this gallery that's selected, or you can just do this item.id, whatever. So this item.id, and let's give it a go. So if we need this item, so we just click here and then it shows this tree. If we need this one, clicks here and wait, did I do something wrong? Yeah, no, I was just clicking wrong. So this is the item number 1, this is item number 2, and perfect. Let's make some changes. So for this one, let's choose this one. So this item here says test 44 is the last one. Let's make it test YouTube video. Missing go and submit the form. So it's right there. If I need the versions, I can just click in here and there you go. So that's our last one, version number 4, this YouTube video, and all the previous. So you can do this for all the columns. If you have a complex column, which is like a person, you can just, all you have to do is just follow the tree, add whatever, the field before it, and it's just gonna be just like that, right? So like we did in here. So this, that, and that's it, simple. So sorry for the ugly looking, but I trust you'll do good design in your application. But let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any new ideas. This is one of my first videos, so just new ideas. I'll be happy to make them. I'll also share some of the ideas I have. But yeah, I'll take it from there. Just let me know. Thank you. All right, bye.